Hey, how's it going? In this video we're going to be talking about a really important concept, a topic that gets discussed heaps and heaps when it comes to digital marketing, and that topic, that question is whether paid advertising or paid traffic is better or not than free traffic. So this is one of those age-old questions in digital marketing. People have been asking it pretty much forever. And I'm sure people will be debating this pretty much until the end of time, but what I want to do in this video is give you my take on paid traffic versus free traffic and which you should be using. So basically in this video we're going to look at the pros and cons of each type and then do a bit of a comparison. So let's start with paid traffic. What is paid traffic? Basically that's anything where you're paying either per click or per impression to get people looking at an ad, clicking on an ad and coming to your site. So paid traffic includes things like Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn advertising, and all sorts of other ad platforms that you can get. There's Quora ads, Pinterest ads, Twitter ads, a whole lot of second tier advertising networks. There's tons and tons. You can even buy ads directly online, or you can buy them through websites like buyselads.com, where you purchase actual ad space on a website rather than through something like Google's display network. Now, free traffic, on the other hand, is getting traffic for free where there's no ad click cost. So this generally refers to organic SEO traffic, so basically ranking your website for keywords. Then when someone searches that keyword, they see your link and they click it, and you get a click to your site, and that's free traffic. But I think it can also refer to free social media traffic as well. So if you build up a Facebook page with 500 or 1,000 or 5,000 or whatever it is likes, and then you post a link on that Facebook page and people click through to your site, that's free traffic as well. But generally when people talk free traffic, they're usually referring to organic search traffic, but we will include social media traffic in there. So let's jump into the pros and cons of paid traffic first. So the pros of paid traffic, the biggest one in many respects is that you can get results very quickly. So you could set up your Google Ads or Facebook Ads account in the next 5 minutes. You could start setting up a campaign, hit go, load in your credit card, and you could be getting clicks, you could be getting traffic very, very quickly indeed. The turnaround time can be quite fast once you've got approved, and really what that means is that if you've got something that's time sensitive and if you just need to get traffic fast, that is one of the biggest pros of paid traffic. Now, the next piece of paid traffic, or the next pro or benefit of paid traffic that I quite like, is scalability. This is something that's much harder to do with free traffic in my opinion, but with paid traffic, if you're spending say $10 a day and you're getting one lead, you might be able to spend $50 a day and get 5 leads, and so on and so forth, and you can scale up from there. Now, of course, if you're aware of that concept of diminishing returns, eventually you hit a point where it costs you more and more for each sort of marginal acquisition, each marginal sale, or each marginal lead. But there is still opportunity to scale, and there are some people out there who do huge scale on Google ads or Facebook ads or whatever form of paid advertising because they understand this principle, and they would happily sit there all day and spend $1 million if they could make $2 million back. So that scalability factor is really, really good. Obviously it's not as easy as that in terms of the actual application, but there really is quite good potential for scalability with paid traffic. And the final pro that I want to discuss in this video is the fact that paid traffic often has more control. So with free traffic, with trying to rank your website in Google listings for free, there's an element of you're sort of at risk of Google's changing in their algorithm, all sorts of things. With paid traffic, it's more as long as you're playing within the rules, you do have a bit more control. You can turn on certain keywords, you can turn off certain keywords, you can turn on certain ads, you can turn off certain ads. You can control how you want your messaging to appear with a lot more precision than with free traffic. So if we move on to the cons of paid traffic, the first is that it can get expensive pretty quickly, especially if you're a small or medium business. I know a lot of companies, sort of recoil in horror at the thought of paying $1 or $2 or $3 a click, and that can really ramp up pretty quickly, and especially if you're in a niche where you need to spend quite a bit to start seeing results. So the cost is definitely a negative, especially if your business is not at that stage where you can approach paid traffic with a sort of investment mindset. If it's just a cost, and I'll get onto this more later on in the video, but if it's just a cost, it can be quite a high one. Now, the next problem with paid traffic, and this is a big one, especially for beginners or DIY digital advertisers, there are so many pitfalls. If we look at Google Ads, there are so many things that you could do that can go pretty disastrously wrong, that result in some pretty terrible things happening. I'm talking about using the wrong types of keywords, I'm talking about setting the wrong location targeting, I'm talking about running your ads on mobile apps and getting a whole lot of junk clicks. Heaps and heaps of things can go wrong with paid digital advertising if you don't know what you're doing. And the problem is you spend money, it's real money that comes out of your business, it's money that could be spent on something else, and every wasted click, every wasted impression that is money that could have been diverted to a better cause. So you need to be aware of that. And the final thing that can be a real con with paid traffic, if you're looking to outsource the management of that, whether it's Google ads or Facebook ads, is that for smaller businesses especially, the actual sort of acquisition of someone to manage those services for you can be quite tough. And the reason for this is pretty simple. Let's say you've got a budget of $250 a month. Well, you might not want to manage it yourself, but to find someone who's going to manage it competently with a total budget of $250 a month, they're probably going to want that just in management fee alone. So then you might have to go to a less experienced specialist or someone who's not quite so talented, and then the results aren't so good. So actually acquiring someone to manage your paid advertising for you, if you're on the smaller end of the budget scale, is not that easy. So something to bear in mind as well. So if we jump to free traffic, organic traffic, let's look at the pros first. So the first pro of free traffic is basically that it is free in terms of monetary cost. Every click you get on Google from someone searching your keywords and clicking through to your site, you don't have to pay for that, and that's really, really valuable. Same with free social media traffic. That's traffic that you can drive without having to pay. And I've built some really big websites with both organic traffic from search engines, from Google, from Bing, from Yahoo, and with social media. And, there's huge volumes of traffic on some of these sites that would cost thousands and thousands of dollars, if not more, with paid advertising, but I'm getting it for free in terms of monetary cost. The next point that is really great about free traffic, organic traffic, is the fact that organic search traffic especially tends to convert quite a bit better than paid traffic, at least in my experience. If I go through and look at the Google Analytics reports of my clients, of projects I work on myself, of past jobs I've had, almost invariably free organic Google search traffic has been the best converting medium by far. It really is quite impressive how effective free organic search traffic is, because it's generally driven off long tail keywords where someone really knows what they're looking for, and if your site comes up and they arrive on that page from that organic Google click and they see that you're offering something that answers their question, that solves their problem, they're much more likely to buy from you or to become a lead. And the final thing that I like about free traffic is if you approach it right, it's a bit like compounding interest. There's quite a slow sort of build-up period, but over time it really does start to pay dividends, and you can sort of build on the free traffic with more traffic. So just like compounding interest grows, so can your website traffic as well. And that's what's so great about free traffic, and that's why people are so keen to get more of it. But that's not to say that free traffic isn't without its downsides, without its cons. The first is that there is always a really big ramp-up period. Unless you're able to leverage, say, a whole lot of other sites you own to point links at your website and jump it up the Google rankings, or unless you're able to leverage an existing big social media audience in some way or shape or form, you've basically got a big ramp-up period, and this takes time. It takes time to go from, no traffic at all, no presence in Google, right up to having good traffic coming through, and that can actually be years and years before you start seeing results in some cases. I can show you examples of websites I've worked on that have taken quite some time to go from, zero to hero, really, and it's always a sort of continual process of trying to build it up and do better. And the thing people forget, and this is another con, is that although there's no monetary cost, there is definitely a time cost. So, if you're already pressed for time in your business, you may not have the time that is actually required to invest into getting that organic traffic that will grow your business in the way you want to grow it. So you might actually be better to sort of reach into your pocket and pay for advertising and grow faster, and then with the extra money you get from that, reinvest that into paying someone to do the organic side of things for you, because there is often a massive time commitment. I would hate to think how many hours I've spent writing content or building links over the years for my own projects. If I probably sat down and really ruthlessly looked at the payoff, at least in the short term, it probably would be sort of ROI negative. It's not until you get to that critical mass where you start getting really good rankings coming through and you start getting great traffic, and then it all sort of snowballs from there. So you do need to bear that in mind. And the final point you need to bear in mind, as well as a downside of free traffic, is that there's often the risk of your results just being taken away overnight. So a great example of this is with Google, who can change their search algorithms just clicking their fingers like that. If you've seen the Avengers movies with Thanos and he snaps his fingers and half the world disappears. It's a bit like that with Google. You can build up a website, get ranking number one, and then an algorithm change might come along, or a competitor comes along, knocks you off your perch, and suddenly you've lost all your traffic and your business goes down the drain. And I have seen this happen time and time again to businesses. You've only got to look in the news. ASOS just released some, I think it was last year's financial earnings, and they had a really big hit to their profit. And one of the reasons they said they had a huge hit to their profit is they made some mistakes with SEO. Some pretty technical mistakes, but it killed their organic search traffic and they lost a lot of business off that. So you do need to bear that in mind, that things change. I've personally had websites crushed by Google algorithm changes in the past, especially on my affiliate marketing business, and it's wiped out big portions of my income before. So be wary of that. Same goes with Facebook. You might violate a term of service and next thing you know your Facebook page is taken away. Or, as I've discussed in the past on this channel, Facebook has also over time gradually sort of hammered organic reach down and down and down, and it's made it harder and harder for business owners to get that free traffic. So you do need to bear that in mind. So let's wrap this up. Which is better, paid traffic or free traffic? Well, ultimately, I think every business should be trying to do both. You should be trying to leverage free traffic opportunities wherever you can. So creating great content, answering people's questions, incorporating long tail keywords into your content, all those kind of things, building links if you can get them, and basically trying to build free traffic where you can. Same goes with social media, trying to build up an engaged free audience and then leverage that audience to drive people to your website and to your offers and to your products and basically turn them into customers. But at the same time, you should also be looking for paid traffic opportunities, because you want to get into the mindset that paid traffic isn't really an expense in the strictest sense of the term if it's done properly. With paid traffic, if you're able to spend $1 but make $1.50 back, yeah, sure, there's an expense of $1, but you're making more money back than you spent. So if you can get into that mindset, and if you can set things up in such a way that your paid traffic makes you more in business than you spend on it, then you should be doing more of it. But you probably didn't come here and watch this video for me to give you a wishy-washy answer like that. So what I want to do is give you my really honest opinion on what I think is better. And I think really it comes down to the sort of stage and type of your business. So if your business is something where you're time sensitive or time pressured, if you've already got funds within the business, you've got business coming in, maybe you've got a bit of money to spare, and ideally you've got a business where you're able to track things quite nicely. So you can track someone from a click on an ad to a landing page to an inquiry, and you know what an inquiry is worth to you, you know your customer lifetime value, all those kinds of things. If you're able to do that, then I would be looking at paid traffic, because you might be able to start small. You might start on Google Ads with $10 a day, and then it starts to work well, and then you expand to $20 a day and $50 a day, and as long as you can keep up with that, then you're going to be able to scale that marketing activity more effectively, and you're going to be able to generate more leads and more revenue in the short term, and then you can reinvest some of that back into organic traffic for long-term growth. But ultimately, if you're spending $1 to make $1.50 or $2 back or whatever the case may be, why would you ever stop doing it? It's a bit like if you came across a slot machine where you sat down and you put $1 in and it gave you $1.50 back. You'd sit there all day feeding it with dollar coins and you'd make a whole lot of money, and this is exactly the same approach. But on the other hand, if you're starting out in business, if you've got lots of spare time but maybe not enough customers, if you've sort of not got any spare revenue or funds within your business to do advertising with online, then you need to be looking for free traffic opportunities, and you might just have to sit there a lot and write content and look for referral traffic opportunities that are free, things like Quora.com where you could answer questions and refer people back to your site. Those kinds of things take lots of time, but they don't cost you any money, at least in the sort of stricter sense of how you're doing it. And so if you've got a business that is struggling a bit financially but maybe has time available, then focus on the organic side of things in the short term. But I think ultimately you do want to be looking to do both. So yeah, if you found this useful, I would really appreciate if you like the video. Helps me out a lot. If you've got any questions, if you're not sure what's right for your situation, please do leave a comment below. I'll do my best to help, or you can email me on info@samfrost.co.nz, and don't forget to subscribe. And remember, whatever you choose, whether it's paid traffic or free traffic, ultimately it all comes down to how your business operates, what you're comfortable with, whether you would rather trade sort of money for time in the sense of paid advertising, you're giving money to an ad company but you're getting time back, or if you'd rather trade time for money in the sense that you can give up your time and not spend any money. Ultimately, I can't make that call for you. I can help advise you on that depending on what you're doing. But the main thing to bear in mind is that in the long run, you really want to be focusing on both. It will diversify your traffic base, reduce risks, and ultimately help you grow your business faster. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.